Okay, and we're back one more time to squeeze in one more video before my break is up. This time we're gonna draw or learn how to draw the electrical conductivity of the heart. So this is a little bit different on drawing the heart. We're gonna start off with the original heart shape still, right? So let's follow along. Remember, you'll need a pencil and a piece of paper. Right, so far the heart looks exactly the same. We have an offset here. We have a larger left side than a right side. And this time, instead of just doing a cross in the middle, we're going to bring down a line, but then we're gonna kind of come up like this. See what just happened there? We kind of created, what is that, a B or a D? I'm not sure, right? And we're gonna do the same thing on the opposing side. Right? And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want to create a space in the middle, which we'll call the septum, right? We have an atrial septum, we have a interventricular septum. So we need the septum because there's some electrical branches that are passing through there. And now we have two ventricles, but we need atrium, so we're just going to kind of create an atrium. Right? Nothing fancy, so we have our atriums. And that's it. That's the drawing of the heart. Now we're going to get into the location of the game, the players in the game. Right, so the first one, if you remember, the vena cava, superior and inferior vena cava, they enter first the right atrium. Now in our last drawing, we kind of just we opened the hole into the right atrium just to kind of assume like the blood's coming through there, but really the inferior superior vena cava, it enters the right atrium posteriorly. So in the posterior aspect, hello, I'm recording a quick video for my classmates.
Oh, okay.
You have students?
They just need a quick view. Is it all right?
Sure. No, it's all yours. It's all yours.
No. Very quick. Okay.
It's all good.
Come on.
So, guys, so the inferior superior vena cava, it enters the right atrium posteriorly, right? So we can say that the opening of the right atrium, we're going to call it the sinus. Well, essentially because it is called the sinus, right? So the reason why I say that is because there is a node that exists exactly right there, and we call it the SA node, and we'll put it here, the SA node, and that stands for sinoatrial node. Sino because it's in the sinus, it's directly over the opening of the inferior and superior vena cava, and atrium because it's in the atrium, right? So sinoatrial node. Then there is another player in the game called the AV node. And they call it the AV node, A for atrium and V for ventricular, because it's between the atrium and the ventricle, right? I think this is all self-explanatory. But now the next thing we're gonna do is start to follow the electrical pathway. What direction are we going here? So the very first step is the SA node has to fire, and the SA node has additional branches that supply that cause the atrium to contract. That's usually not mentioned during testing. It may or may not, but either way, we start from SA node, and then we have two very large branches that connect the SA node to the AV node, right? Because not only does the SA node govern how the atrium contracts, but it also tells the ventricles how to contract through the AV node. So we go from SA node to these branches, which we're gonna call junctional branches, right? Because they're junctioning, they're connecting one to the other. And so we went from SA node to the junctional branches to the AV nodes. And then from the AV nodes, there are two more branches, very similar in thickness to the junctional branches, that make their way down the interventricular septum. Interventricular septum, right? So these two branches we call the AV bundle sometimes referred to as bundle of His. The bundle of His, right? So, and there's a right and a left one. So right AV and right and left AV bundle. And either way, so as they make their way down into the ventricles, and this is all in the muscle layer of the heart. As it makes its way down through the ventricles, the left one goes left, and the right one goes right. We call this right and left AV branches. Right and left AV branches. One branches right, one branches left. And the last step of this contraction is that these branches have these little tiny branches, or even smaller branches, that we call fibers. These little tiny electrical fibers that we call Purkinje fibers. Purkinje fibers, and this is essentially where the electrical conductivity ends. Now there's additional steps that can be added to this. This is a very simplified version, and the purpose of this is really to understand the pathway, and really even more important is learning how to draw it, right? So you can take information from this, you can leave information, use whatever you like. But either way, just to backtrack here, the SA node fires, causing the atriums to contract. Then through the junctional branches sends information to the AV node, which then sends the information, or the electrical information, through the AV bundle, sometimes referred to as the bundle of His. And then the bundle of His will branch into right and left branches, which have tiny little fibers that we call Purkinje fibers, which will electrically shock the ventricles to shoot the blood up, right? I hope this video helps on how to draw the electrical pathway of the heart. I believe the next video, definitely out of time today, but the next video is going to be what was I drawing next? The circle of Willis. Thanks, guys. See you.